get onto it.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Josh and Kelly.
We are continuing the truck build, and we got most of the installation done in the last episode. We've got to finish that up, although I'm still waiting for the adhesive to arrive. It should arrive tomorrow. So today we are working on two different things. One is the kind of the interior walls, especially the bottom section, which is all going to be plywood. We're going to have to do a lot of cutting out of that kind of thing. So we're going to do that today, and we're also going to try and get the security camera rewired for the rear camera from our dash cam series. So yeah, that's what's on today. Okay, what I've been working on this morning, I don't know if you can see it, right in between here is a wire. So I pulled the light off, drilled a hole in it, fed that through. This is for the security camera. So it's through there. You can just see it. And it goes down underneath and then runs along the hole of the truck underneath and comes in the back right up through here. And then that runs inside through there and out through the roof and then along the roof to the camera. So it's kind of a long roundabout route, inside, then back outside, underneath, and all that. But it works. It's just long enough, and it gets exactly what we need done. So happy with that. Okay, I had a tiny wee little bit of glue left in the bottom of that can, so I've got some stuff glued here, and Kelly's pressing down some pressure on it. I've got this one here with some pressure on it with this board from the other side, just so that it has pressure against it. But Kelly's doing the pressure there with her hand. But let me show you what we've done so far. So besides getting the wiring done up here, let me just show you. There's the camera.
Moving, Josh? Is it
You can see the line all along the edge there that I've got in some fasteners. So this attached to the roof. And
Is it straight enough? I feel like it moved.
no, that's fine.
You sure?
Yeah,
It's going at
that's
90.
fine. Just use pressure. So
Right,
we've done that. So that we did that earlier, and we've been cutting. But let me show you what we've been cutting, because we've done a lot of cutting, and it doesn't look like it. So this is our stack of pieces here. You can see them all underneath there. So all that's the stack of pieces that we've cut. So we've had to cut to length, cut some things out of them, shape some of them, all that kind of thing, because not unlike the van when we built the van, there's not a lot of straight edges. We're trying to create straight edges in here, which is why we have all of the insulation kind of built out, so we create nice flat straight edges on things, so it's going to be much easier for everything else we're doing. But to do that takes a lot of work initially, which is what we're doing now. You can see there's no real straight edge. It goes up and it curves around and it comes down. Like, there's not a whole lot of straight edges in here. And if you look very closely along this wall, you can see it comes in, and the wall at the end curves like this. Comes in, which, yeah, it's not very straight. That was a hard thing to glue on there, but we did eventually get it glued. And the same with this end here. It kind of curves and then comes in a little bit at the end too. And obviously this side is the exact same as that, so that end down there curves in, and so does this end here. So while there's no straight walls or straight lines, we are trying to make some, which will make our life a whole lot easier later on. But for now, it just means it's a bit of a pain. But we're getting it. We are getting it.
We're getting it.
We're getting it. So Kelly's still pressing down there. Sophie's helping out over here because she's chewing a piece of wood of some sort. Not our good wood, just a stick or something. So we've gone through 2 batteries in the... So here's some of our offcuts. This is where we've been cutting. So no sawhorses in play. We're using this tub that's out here as our platform to cut on. You see all of our offcuts and stuff here from what we've been doing. And yeah, so this is it as it looks in progress. But it's come a long way in the last just over a week since we've gotten it. So we got it a week ago Friday. This is a Sunday. So we've had it for pretty much 9 days. We got a lot done in that time, but we've had a few days we haven't been able to work because of rain and cold. And we've got a few of those coming up this week too, which is going to be a bit of a pain. Tuesday and Wednesday are supposed to be rainy, which is going to limit what we can do. So I'm trying to do what we can now while the weather is still nice and sunny.
She's slave driving me today to make up for lost time.
Oh, I have been slave driving her. So and
I'm not complaining about it at all.
She would come out here and she's looking. She's look at that. I'm like, we haven't got time to look at anything. We're just cracking that whip. We got to get going here. So we got 2 days of work to do in 3 hours.
My back hurts. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm cold. I want to go back inside.
It's a good thing.
Best worker you could ever have.
It's a good thing I'm doing the majority of this work out here.
Hey.
Because it's cold, and Kelly does not perform well in the cold. She does not like it.
Makes me cranky.
Yeah, it's harder to work in the cold for sure. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave it for today, and we'll pick up tomorrow with more cutting of wood to go onto this side of everything. We've cut the wood for this side, the platform. We've cut the piece that goes across the front here. We've cut the piece that goes across the top of here. We've cut the piece that goes along there, and we've cut the piece and shaped the piece that goes along there. So we've done all that, but we haven't done, and I couldn't yet, because the insulation is not up, so we don't know exact measurements for cutting it on this side or for the goes across the top of there. So we're going to have to wait until the insulation goes on tomorrow in order to be able to measure and cut those. I'm hoping I can get all that done tomorrow. Yeah, that's my hope. I don't know if we will or not. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, we'll find out tomorrow. Well, good morning from the back of the truck. It's the next day, and I'm still waiting for the adhesive to arrive so I can finish gluing the insulation. But I thought I'd take a moment while I'm waiting to explain something. And that is, I got asked the other day, why are you insulating? If you're going to have a heater, why are you insulating? And it's a good question, but it seems they were thinking a boat, right? This is a fiberglass shell, the same as a boat. Most recreational boats are fiberglass. So they're kind of, equating the two, and knowing that boats don't have insulation. If you're on a boat in summer, if they're tied to the dock, they're usually plugged into shore power, and they have an air conditioner running all the time because it gets very hot in there. If they're moving, they have all the windows open so they get as much airflow as possible because it gets very hot. There is no insulation. It's just simply the sun beating down that fiberglass and the fiberglass radiating it through. Now, it's not as bad as if it was metal, which would radiate more, but it does still radiate. So I guess their thinking was, why insulate? Because it's a fiberglass like a boat. And I guess the long answer and the short answer are pretty much the same. Because we want to protect from the heat and the cold. It really is as simple as that. So insulating this allows us to not have all that radiant heat in summer coming through and beating in. At the same time, it stops the cold in winter, not from coming in, but it stops the heat we produce in here from going out, and helps retain it longer. It means the walls aren't cold. It means that the floor is not as cold. All those kinds of things. So that's why we insulate. And we've chosen to use two different types of insulation in this. The first is, as you see behind me, these panels here. They're a semi-firm kind of insulation called, they're called XPS, but it's basically is a polystyrene kind of installation that's specifically manufactured as an insulator for homes and this kind of thing. It has a certain compression rate, and this one has a 15 psi compression rate, which means that it can withstand 15 pounds per square inch of pressure on it before it starts to crumble and break, I guess, essentially. It will condense, it will crush, and eventually it will break at more than that. And we have various thicknesses of it, and they're all the same level of compression. I would have loved to have gone for the 25 psi, but it's just not very readily available. I would love to have gotten the 25 psi in the 1 inch, because that would have been better. But that is also one of the reasons why on the floor and on the lower part of the walls, not on the upper walls, but on the lower part, we are putting a face of plywood.
because any pressure against it, that plywood dissipates that pressure, and so it can withstand a whole lot more weight. Like right now, I am sitting on a 1-inch section of this XPS, but we have plywood over the top. And so I can put all kinds of weight on here, and it actually just disperses that weight around, so it doesn't actually make indentations or crush the insulation underneath, which maintains the distance required in order to actually be an insulator. Because if it crushes, it needs an air gap. So that air gap, in this case, it's 1 inch underneath. And we got 1.5 on the upper part of these walls because they're going to get direct sunlight. So if that air gap, which creates the insulation, crushes, the insulation goes away. So the dispersion of weight by the plywood helps us maintain the insulation factor without crushing it. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's kind of what we're using. We're going to do something different on the ceiling and in some of the hard to reach gaps and places like that and cracks. We're going to put thin slate. Thin slate's a great insulator. It's like a fabric. It's a lot more flexible than fiberglass insulation. It's very much like a thick fabric, like a blanket almost. So it can get into any nook and cranny. You can cut it and stuff it and pack it into places that you just can't get rigid foam board like this into. So we're going to be doing that, but especially on the ceiling, because it has a slightly higher R value. R value is an insulation value, and the higher the number, the more it insulates. And thin slate has a slightly higher R value than this 1-inch XPS. So that, especially on the roof where we're going to get a lot of sun, is going to be of great benefit. And yeah, so that's insulation in a nutshell. That's why we're insulating and what we're using to insulate. And for those of you who are curious about that, I hope that helps.
Okay, so I just did some not resealing, but putting stronger adhesive onto the rail that hold the solar panels on. They were put on with 3M VHB tape, very high bond, which is really good tape, and it would probably hold just fine, no problem. But to be certain, I put some 3M 5200, which is a permanent marine sealant, around them, and it's an adhesive as well to help hold them. So if you could just look at the edge here, all that white right along that edge is the sealant I just put on all the way down to help make sure that the wind doesn't get under the lip of that and try and lift it. And I did both sides, so the whole way down there as well. All that's got sealant on it now, so hopefully we won't have any issues with the wind lifting the solar panels off or anything like that. Those rails on which it's mounted, they're aluminum strips, are they're about as sealed as I can get them, short of putting screws through the roof, which I haven't done and I don't want to do. Just rather not do extra holes. So besides that, it's on there solid. Okay, so I've done just about everything I can do. I've used up the last of, this is what I'm waiting for here. So this is 3M 78 spray adhesive. It's specifically for polystyrene insulation like we've got here. But I don't have any more. This is the last of it. I've been nursing this, putting little tiny bits on here and there, but I'm out. I just used the last of it. And so we are it's a waiting game, just waiting for it to arrive. It's supposed to be arriving today, but unfortunately, it's coming by the Postal Service, even though I ordered it on Amazon. And yeah, who knows when it's going to arrive, what shape it's going to arrive in, or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of at their mercy at the moment, and I'm kind of at a standstill until then, because I can't go forward with anything because I don't have all the insulation on, and I can't put any more facial stuff on because I need this as well. So yeah, we're a little bit at a standstill waiting, which is a shame because it's a beautiful day. It's a perfect day for it. It's a beautiful day. I took my sweatshirt off because I was getting hot. And next 2 days is supposed to rain. So I'm hoping it gets here in time so I can really bang out some stuff this afternoon and get as much done as I can. But yeah, we'll see. All right, the glue has finally arrived. It arrived around 1:30. So I have just been madly gluing all of this on there, trying to get it to go so I can get that done. Then I can get the cap pieces on over here, and then I can start putting the plywood on over here.
and the back. And that may be all I get done today is just what I have cut so far, because I do need to cut the plywood for this side too, but I can't do that until this is all finished anyway. So yeah, and I will go through, and all these little strips like this of the thin slate that I've put in, you can see I've stuffed some back in the corner there, got some along this edge here. These are already in, but I'll glue these ones in too while I'm at it. But yeah, mad rush. Big piece in a small area. It's hard to get in. Alright, I think that's it. To make it stick, I'm going to put some pressure on it with some boards. These boards are putting pressure. I've actually got a bracing board back here so they can't slide back. So I'm downward pressure, and then this kind of distributes that pressure over a wider area to help it press against the wider area. But it's pretty flush, like there's no bit sticking out. That's going to make a good solid connection. So it's quite involved, but this is how we do it. Well, good morning. We are back at it again. It's a great day today. It was lovely and sunny yesterday, and actually got a bit warm. It's kind of cool and gray today. But I've cut my first piece already. Let me show you. I've got it propped up here for drying. So that piece that goes along there, now it's all propped up in there, ready to dry. And then I'm going to do the piece that goes across the top of here next. And then some of these little small bits and pieces through here. But my issue is that all of this has to be done kind of soonish, because it's supposed to rain today around lunchtime, so I gotta get this done and cleaned up before then. So I'm kind of on the clock, and yeah, I really don't know. I mean, they're predicting to rain around lunchtime, but it could be before, it could be after. So just trying to get as much done as I can today while I can. Okay, so I am still racing the clock. It's almost lunchtime, but I've got a fair bit, I think, done. Let me show you. So the front panel's on. I just glued the top one on. I've glued these little side pieces on, put in the insulation as well. I've re-glued that access hatch down there because I can't use it, because that is right there is where the big water tank's going to go. So the water tank's going to block it, so I can't use the access hatch anyway. So I'm going to have to access it from above. So I've cut a hatch in the top. I'm going to have to reach down and through too. It's going to be a fun one, but anyways, that's best I can do. And then I'm about to cut these two pieces that go there, and then I'm going to be able to put these, the far one and this one, the access hatches in as well, and try and get them all sorted and so they fit nice and snug in there. So yeah, that's the goal. We'll see how we go, but that's the goal. But right now, I've got to let this dry. I've tried to get some weight on there, just so it's all pressed down and all that. That piece here, so out of all the ones that I've cut, so out of every board that I've stuck up, that's the only one that's really going to be seen, because the bench height's going to be here, and then that's going to actually increase the sleeping platform space once we go to a sleep mode. So because of that, that's actually going to be seen. So that's the only one out of all these pieces that's actually going to be seen. So I'm trying to make sure that one's really good. But yeah, we'll see. But that's what I've been working on today. And at the moment, as you can see, it's cloudy, but it's not raining. So hopefully it holds off and I'll be able to get a bit more done. Because I have so much more to do. I really want to work until it does rain. So yeah, that's what I'll do. All right, I just got my last piece glued right here. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but have a look at the ground. It's starting to rain, so just in time. I'll leave the heater going for a while so all this can cure. So that's going to be cured. That's got to cure. That kind of thing. I'm going to leave these here just to create some extra weight on there. But yeah, I think it's all I can do for today. So yeah, let's see what we can do tomorrow. Well, good morning. As they predicted, it's a wet day today. As you can see here, everything's wet. Sky's gray. It's not currently raining at the moment, but it's kind of really very humid and misty. So it's a perfect time for me to put the heater in here, dry things out, and then to paint. So all of this wood, I'm going to paint. That's my goal today. And it's supposed to be 6 hours between coats, so I really got to get onto this. I left it later than I should. It's 10 o'clock already. So I've cleaned it out, I've swept it out, wiped everything down, so it should be good, ready for paint. But it's going to be a little bit of a pain because 6 hours means it's going to be really late in the day by the time I get the second one on there. But that's right, it is what it is. But yeah, it'd be nice to have it painted. All right, there it is. First coat is done. Because I didn't prime it, it's really kind of soaking in, which is fine. I'll put a second coat on it later. But yeah, it's looking much better, much more uniform now. Now that it's painted, it looks a whole lot better. I might give this floor another coat too, because it's had a bit of a rough go the last week or so with a lot of stuff in here and wood and insulation and all that. And it's very dirty, and so I might wipe it down and give it another coat too, just to be on the safe side. But anyway, the important thing's done. The walls and these shelving sides here are all done, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so I have just finished doing the second coat of paint. So let me show you. It's a little dark, but let me show you what it looks like in here. So everything, the tops are all coated. 2 coats in the back, 2 coats on the side. I didn't redo this because I think we'll redo it after this is all dry and after the insulation is up on the roof, because it's going to get a little bit dirtier, and then I'll clean it out and we'll wipe it down and then I'll repaint it. But for now, everything is looking good. So we can relax a little bit, let this dry. I mean, I had to wait 4 hours, it was almost 5 hours, in order to recoat it so it would dry enough. So this is going to take pretty much all night to dry is my guess. So I've got the heater in here a little bit just to give it a jump start. But yeah, and here we are just at the end of the day. It did clear up. Sun's already down, but it did clear up. So it's been pretty mild. But it's still, you can see the ground is still wet. It hasn't really dried out completely yet, so it's still very humid. So it is going to take a little while to dry, so that heater is really going to help. Well, good morning. It's actually Thanksgiving Day, but it's a nice sunny day, so we're working. And one of the first things we're going to do is we bought a step that kind of folds down to allow us to step up into this. And Kelly has requested to help her work and get up and down that I put it in. But now that I'm here, I'm hesitant to think it's going to work properly, because I think this is supposed to fit a 2-inch ball, and this looks like it might be a 2.5. Because this got a lot of play in it. I'm going to put it on anyways and see, but I think I might have to get a sleeve to put in there first for this really to work. So that's what I'm trying to determine now. I think that nut, I think that bolt isn't really long enough for this. It's meant for a 2-inch one, so I might have to get some more hardware and get a sleeve for this in order for it to work. That's the idea, at least. All right, so we're out here, and by we I do mean Kelly and I. See, she's here. We have just cut in sections all the insulation there, and we've rolled it up. So it's actually stacked in order to go up on the ceiling, panel by panel, to cover the whole thing. So that's done. We've measured. We've actually been over generous in our measurements, so that we can just put it up there and then cut off any extra, as opposed to having to fill in spots. And now we are about to put a big panel down here of the vinyl, and we've just measured what this is going to take here. So we're going to measure it, we're going to cut it, put it up there, and then have to figure out dimensions for the window to cut out, and have a whole side piece. So that's the plan now, but it's cold. So it's not fun being out in this, and it's windy too, and the wind keeps blowing everything everywhere, but oh well, we'll get it done. All that for one cut. So yeah, I just gotta repeat that 3 or 4 times until we have all the cutouts we need just to get around the window. All right, we're done cutting, done measuring. We've done a dry fit for everything in here. The only place I can stay is this one, because it kind of wedges in there, and it's fine as it is. On this side, we chose to do the opposite, and that is, okay, on this side, the top is going to be all one piece with both sides. Okay, it's all one piece. And then underneath the window, it's a separate piece, because the kitchen counter is going to be about here. All this is going to be hidden, so you're not going to see the seam or have to worry about it. On this side, we've chosen to do the opposite. We wanted it to be all one piece with the bottom and the sides, and then the top is going to be a separate piece put in, because this is going to be our sleeping platform, or part of it. And so if we're going to be rubbing up against this, I don't want any seams there. I want it to be seamless, just for less chance of it getting pulled off. So that's why we've done it differently on both sides. But essentially it's the same process. Cut a piece out and around, and then cut another piece in, but just they're opposites on opposite sides. But we're going to leave the insulation in there, ready to go for whenever I guess Friday, tomorrow is when the sealant is supposed to come, the adhesive, and once that arrives, we can then start to glue some of these things in. Insulation first, and then the vinyl after that. And then once that's in, we'll be able to measure the roof to see how much vinyl we need for that. But we can't do that until the insulation is in and the sidewalls are up, because they'll affect the actual overall lengths. So yeah, for today we're done, and yeah, come back at it again tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's a cold morning. It's about, I don't know, 30 degrees, I think. So for all my friends who use the metric system, it's about -1 Celsius. So it's cold, and that presents its own problems, because today's supposed to be a gluing day. So what I've got, you can see the cord here running in. I have the heater going in here to try and warm it up so we can glue later. So there's the heater. But first thing I'm going to do is I've got to fill these cavities. And I have the pieces already cut out for them, but I've got to make sure they fit snugly. So that's going to be a task. That's my first task. So I'm going to come in and start working on that while it warms up in here. And when Kelly gets home, she's having coffee with a friend. When she gets home, she and I are going to start gluing. We've got a lot of gluing to do, a lot of insulation to glue, and then the sidewalls have got to be glued up. So we have to do all that. So yeah, busy day. Okay, so I'm in here and I've just done a dry fit. Let me just show you what I've done. So I have fit them all into their slots. And these are the actual pieces of wood that were cut out of those slots to begin with. So they are all, it's a perfect fit. And what I was going to do is I was going to put these backings here, these little blocks on them to hold them and wedge them in. But these have got no play whatsoever. They fit so perfectly that I don't even need to do that. Like, they're in there and they're not sliding around or anything. So I might just have to paint them
and then they'll be all set. The difficulties with this is twofold. One is once everything is built out, getting access to them. Because, for instance, here at the front, all of this, up until probably about here, is going to be the water tank. So there's going to be very, very narrow area here that I can get into to get this one. But I think out of all of them, this is going to be one of the most easily accessible. The one here is going to probably have the water heater in front of it. And that may prove fun to try and get out. But if I can slide the water heater out just a couple of inches, I can pry this out and get my hand back there and do what I need to do. Yeah. This one here will be fairly easily accessible. This is going to be under the bed platform, under the seat. So that one should be fairly easily accessible. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. This one back here is going to be the most difficult, but I've already planned for that. So the water tank is literally going to be in front of this, so we're not going to be able to access this at all. So I have cut a panel here in the top to be able to get into that, so I can just lift this up and get down into there. I've already cut that. You can just see the cuts in it there. So I've already done that so I can gain access from the top. The difficulty is this is actually going to have a shelving unit over it built in here for storage. But this is going to be the base of the shelving unit, so as long as there's nothing directly on top of this piece, I can lift it and gain access in there. And that's my hope, that I can do that and do that easily. But again, like everything else, we'll see. Okay, so this is the dry fit. So we're going to spray the adhesive and then just literally lift this up into place. But I've got to cut out some notches here and here so these can pass through, because they're not going under the insulation. They're going between the insulation and the ceiling panel. So I've got to cut out some notches for those. We can get those back behind there, and then we don't have to worry about it when we go to put it up. That's the idea, at least. So let me see if I can give a good cut on these. So they're cut. We're going to spray.
The heat feels good.
Push it up and be ready. And I've had the heater in here for probably almost 2 hours warming up.
Nice.
And it's actually, I'm going to take this off because it's so warm in here. But that's right up Kelly's alley.
So today we did the insulation. We did all the ceiling. Josh already did the side insulation. So we're gonna let that cure a little bit, and then we're gonna be able to put the ceiling up after a little bit after this dries, and we're gonna do the side panels, the ceiling, and this side. We've already cut that out, so it's gonna look so much more finished.
It is. We got to trim. We got to trim the extras, but
yeah,
a little bit of extra insulation hanging down.
we're
But
a little generous on some side pieces.
that's all right. Better than having gaps.
Woo.
It's done. It's done. So we've got the insulation up on the ceiling. We've got the walls up. A little bit of tidying up and touching up to do on them, but on the whole, it's looking good. It's looking a lot different from how it did initially. But that's, well, hopefully going to get the ceiling panels in tomorrow. And they're white just like these. They're same as what the wall are. And so it'll all be there. And then all the insulation walls will be done. But, well, technically insulation walls are done. It's just the ceiling panel that has to go on. But, wow, that'd be nice to have it all done. That's for sure. All right, good morning. Kelly and I have been at work this morning.
Hi.
Doing this. So we've got one big long panel piece in. Now we just have to do one on either side. And I've just cut them here. So we've got the pieces to go in on either side. We're about to put them in. And hopefully that will complete the walls and ceiling, and we'll be able to move on to other things.
It's been a little cold. We've had some sleet, some snow flurries, and now it's been raining. Look,
Yeah.
I even have my gloves on. I'm so cold.
Yeah, it's been cold. And I've already officially made this truck my relative. It's got enough blood of mine in it to be a relative. I put a nice long slice down my thumb, and it wasn't, let me just get in the picture here. It wasn't done on purpose. I was cutting out the notch around the fan, and the razor blade broke and literally just went down, and the remains of the razor blade went down and sliced my thumb. So yeah, we might go to the doctor and see if they want to do something about it later, but we want to get this stuff up now because time is of the essence. We can't afford delays, so we're going to work on this and then show you it when it's done.
This is my machine. This is the tool I work with the best.
And she does a good job at it. So we have it all in. We've got to fill in. We're actually mounting lights that goes along this strip, so you won't see the actual join there. But the ceiling is in after much heartache and bloodshed.
It kept stripping, and then we have like some extra holes we gotta fix, and then of course like do the touch up. It looks a little unfinished.
And there was only one screw we actually had to cut out because it's stripped. We had to cut it out and then re-drill. But other than that, it's done. It's in.
It never goes as smoothly as you are hoping.
It never does, but it's done. And for a cold, wet, rainy day, a little bit of sleet, a little bit of ice earlier, we're doing all right.
I'm starting to get hangry.
So we're going to feed Kelly after she vacuums. And then I think we're going to go to the walk-in clinic and see if they'll stitch my thumb. So yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so just a little update. Gotten back from the doctors, and yeah, they gave me 7 stitches. So yeah, I told them I needed my hand. Let me show you. So they've just kind of stitched it and done it up. But I told them, I said, look, I need my hand. Like I'm doing a lot of manual labor stuff at the moment. I need my hand. So she stitched it, and she said the stitches should hold. You should be able to bend your thumb for the most part. Take it easy on it. Don't go too hog wild. So we'll see. But the building must go on. I mean, we're on a time crunch, so I gotta get moving. So anyway, that's today, and tomorrow we'll get stuck back into it. Morning. Welcome to another day of the build. Yeah, today we're going to start the actual building of the interior stuff, starting with the water tank and the platform that goes over that. So that should all get done today. Okay, it's been a bit of a whirlwind of a day. Let me show you all I've done. So, I have built the framing both in the front and behind the water tank. So that's our water tank. I've connected up all the pipes back there. I've run the cabling back down through this corner, and then put a lot of, just cable management in place, I guess, for it. Not quite done yet, but got a lot of that done. And I put the platform on here and painted it. That took me most of the day just because I had to wait for the paint to dry. But now that it's on, I have installed our filing cabinets, which are going to be our dresser drawers, because they automatically lock when you close them, so they won't go flying off open when we drive. And then that's our fridge. So it has been a very busy day. Oh yeah, I put the surround on the fan as well. So yeah, it's been a busy day. Well, hello and welcome to another day of the van build. It's a miserable day outside. It's about 34 degrees. So for all of you metric fans out there, that's about 1 degree, 1.5 degrees. Yeah, and it's raining. We're about a half-hour drive south of the snow line, so all we're getting is a cold, wet, miserable day. So we're working inside. Now yesterday when I put these things in, I've got brackets on the front to hold them so they don't lift up, they don't slide back, that kind of thing. But what we don't have is anything to stop them from tipping forward with weight on a drawer or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I brought this angle bracket. I'm going to slip this in the back over the edge, and then I've got 2 right angle brackets that are going to go over the top of this to hold it down, and that should be sufficient to hold it in place, make sure it doesn't dip forward, that kind of thing. Well, good morning.
It is a nice, bright, sunny day. It's still cold, still about freezing, but we're gonna get a lot done today. I hope. That's the idea. So what I'm hoping to do is be able to build out the cabinets that go here and that go here. And in order to do that, we have one big hurdle to overcome. And that hurdle is not necessarily a mistake, but kind of a mistake. And that is this fridge. Let me show you what I mean. When we open it up, we look inside, it's tiny, tiny. Because it has this freezer, the fridge is 1.6 cubic feet, which is minuscule, minuscule. So we have made the executive decision to change the fridge. I found something that will fit. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of modification of cutting out here a little bit because we have 17.5 inches from the edge of this to there. And the fridge we just bought is 18 inches. So I gotta cut out ½ inch notch, which is not that big a deal. We have room to spare. It happens to be in one of the cavity places anyway, so we have a little bit of room to spare. Okay, so today's been longer than anticipated. So what I've gotten done is basically all the components for the cupboard. And I've had to do them and redo them a few different times because I had it all assembled. I had to put it in and I couldn't get it past the window. So I had to literally chop it up into pieces, then try assembling, make sure it worked and bring it out. And then what I've been doing now is I've been painting. So I'm painting it all and then I'm going to wait and let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow morning I'm going to actually reassemble it in place. Here we are, another day. It's a cold one again today. It was probably the coldest night we've had so far this year last night. And there's a very thick frost on the ground and stuff this morning. So had the heater going in here a little bit this morning just to help warm it up so we can actually do some stuff. And yesterday I got pretty much all of the shelf and cupboard for the one side done. It's actually been inside drying overnight because I painted it. So I'm going to install that this morning and hopefully make the other one too. Whether that one has enough time to dry from painting to get installed today, or whether I have to wait till tomorrow, I have yet to see. But that's my goal for today. But let me show you it once it's finished and once that one cupboard's in place. Okay, so I'm part way there. We've had a little bit of an interruption. My dad's got some medical stuff I need to go and attend to. But what I've done so far is all the framing and the shelf is in. It's all secured. It's just the front that has to go onto that. And I've built the frame front and rear for that. So I've started on it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to leave it there for the moment and get back to it later. Well, good morning. As you can see, I'm driving. I had to come out and get some plumbing supplies and stuff. And I wanted to do it early because, let me show you why. It's snowing. And I don't know how bad things are supposed to get or not, but I wanted to make sure that I had what I needed before things got messy out here. Well, we're back. It's still snowing, but it's time to get some work done. Okay, so my goal today is to get the face on these cabinets here, get the actual the doors on them and the latches, and to fix the cabinet in over here and get the doors and stuff cut for it, which I then have to paint, which most likely I'll have to wait till overnight for them to dry sufficiently in order to put them on. But yeah, that's the goal for today. And then to start some of the plumbing stuff. I went out this morning and I made a mistake the other day. Surprise, surprise. I feel like that's all I do is make mistakes and correct them. But one of the mistakes I made, and this was about a month and a half or so ago, I was trying to stockpile some supplies so I didn't have to go out and get them later. And I bought a lot of stuff for PEX, which is fine. But the actual PEX that I bought was PEX B, not PEX A. And You know, if you find this stuff really boring, then just tune out for the next 30 seconds. But so PEX A is 1/2 inch and PEX B is 1/2 inch. But PEX A, the inside diameter is 1/2 inch, whereas PEX B, the outside diameter is 1/2 inch. And for whatever reason, it wasn't labeled very clearly, and so I grabbed a bunch of PEX B instead of PEX A. So I had to exchange that today. And when I went to exchange it, instead of having 10-foot lengths, they only had 20-foot lengths. So I'm hauling 20-foot lengths of PEX through the store. Yeah, people are just laughing because it's huge. 20 foot is a long haul. And when I got out here to the truck, I actually had my cutters with me, thankfully. And I was able to cut them in half so I could stick them in the back here to bring them home so they weren't just sticking out everywhere. But yeah, another mistake to correct. All right, second cabinet is in place. You can see these screws are not screwed down, nor the ones on the inside back there, because I need to wait until I get a final dry fit of the fridge in this spot to make sure that I have the width and everything has been measured correctly, and then I'll just screw them down and it's in place. But it's just sitting there for now, and then we're just waiting on the fridge to finalize that. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and do the doors on this one, which I've already cut and painted. They're just ready to get hinges and latches. And in this one, I'm going to have to cut them and then paint them and then hinges and latches. All right, well, I've got one done, and then I had to go and I had to paint the other one so we have a chance to dry while it was still light. And I'm going to work on the other door now, and then that may be me for the day. I think until the other paint dries, I can't really finish that set of shelves. So I got lots of other things to do though, but I think we're going to call it a day after that. But let's see if we can't get this one done. And if you can't tell, I gave the heater to Kelly this morning because she was cold while she was working, and so there's been no heat out here. It's freezing. It is literally freezing. It's not super cold. I think it's been about 26 degrees or something today. So for all my metric viewers out there, all my friends from Oz, I think that's, probably a couple of degrees below freezing. It's not super cold, but it's cold enough to feel it when you're sitting here. So I need to get this done before my hands start to get too numb and get really stiff. So let's get into it. Well, there it is, all in. Cabinet is done. So happy with that. Kelly hasn't seen it yet, so I hope she's going to be happy with it. But it's done. Tomorrow I will work on finalizing this one over here and getting it installed, and also working on some of the plumbing. But yeah, for now, this is it. So I think it's all we're going to do for this week. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. That's all we've got for you this week. And we've made some good progress. We've actually done a lot. And we're starting to see things now going up, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And yeah,
looking forward to it being done and getting on the road and some drone footage and exploring again. And
can't wait.
Thanks for sticking with us for the
for the slow bits, let's call it.
The slow
bits. But yeah, it won't always be like this. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.
See you out there.